Good morning. Welcome to the DFS YouTube channel. I am Razzle11, and you can find me on Twitter at Razzle11Grinds. Gonna take a look at some pitching for today, the 30th of May. We have a 13-game main slate today, with a bunch of West Coast series going on. 5 of them, actually. Quite a few. So if you're winning money early, just realize there's a lot to go on yet. Uh, But let's dig into pitching since that's what we are here for. At the top, Shane McClanahan, one of my favorite pitchers in baseball. Definitely going to be utilizing McClanahan. He has been worse on the road. That is some worries. Um, it is pretty warm in Chicago, but we don't really have any wind, or what we do have is kind of just blowing side to side. So Um, the Cubs have been decent against left-handed pitching, but McClanahan is one of the best, if not the best, left-handed pitchers in baseball. Uh, Gone 7 innings each of his last two, and only throwing in 82 and 83 pitches. Love the efficiency. The K numbers are strong. It's just so good. Um, Obviously, wish he was not 11.4 though. Next up, Joe Ryan. Going to make my pool, but I don't really love the 11-1 price tag. Uh, his Ks are little less consistent than McClanahan, coming off of a 4K performance against San Francisco. That's against a team that strikes out plenty, which is a little worrisome. He does have 3 starts of 10 strikeouts, one of which was against this Houston squad. So I'm definitely intrigued. Been solid on the road. K numbers aren't as strong as at home, but they're still pretty damn strong. I believe he is a road favorite. Yeah, sitting at minus 130 right now, so no problem with Joe Ryan other than the fact that he's 11.1K. And the fact that we have Zach Gallen cheaper than he is on this slate. Gallen is a minus 250 favorite, which is the third highest on the slate, I believe. Which is insane to think about. Minus 250 is just the third highest. Has not faced Colorado yet this season, but as you can see, he is ridiculously strong at home. Been about 3 times better at home than on the road in terms of fantasy points per game. Just doesn't walk guys at home. Has allowed 3 runs in his 5 starts at home, allowing less than 4 hits per game at home, while striking out over 9. Just extremely strong. Look for him to get back at it at home and be dominant. I would like to see his K numbers return, which is a little worrisome the last couple starts, but they also were on the road, so maybe the return home will help his strikeout numbers. I know the trends that I normally like to look at aren't the greatest, but we're talking about Zach Gallen, who has just been dominant when pitching at home. I will gladly go to him against Colorado. Logan Gilbert isn't going to go in and shut out the Yankees, but he does have 28 plus DK points in 3 out of his last 4 starts. 2 of those starts coming against Atlanta and Texas are pretty strong performances. In those 2 starts against those strong teams, 19 strikeouts. He, like Gallen, has been much better at home. Do worry about some home runs. Judge seems to be locked in. The Yankees took apart Bryce Miller last night, but I think Gilbert is definitely a GPP option on the slate. Senga pitching at home, where again he has been sensational as well. taking on a Philly squad that I don't know, they just disappear at times yet. His last home start was against Tampa Bay, where he absolutely just destroyed them, striking out 12 in 6 innings. I think that Senga is an excellent GPP option, so I will be utilizing him as well. So, I mean, we have quite a few names here at the top. It's going to make pitching choices interesting because we get to Bryce Elder, who's a minus 278 favorite, has allowed 2 runs or less in 5 straight starts, and 8 out of his 10. Now taking on a weak Oakland squad, who we just saw pick up the W last night, shockingly, but he just doesn't have the same K upside as these guys up at the top, but that is all right. He just gets a much softer matchup. So he's going to make my pool. It'll be interesting to see how I break down my percentages, which you will get in my notes. Giolito, I think we have to consider him based on what Kopech was able to do despite giving up a couple home runs. The strikeout numbers were strong. Giolito's coming off an atrocious start against Detroit. He's actually been pretty rough in 2 out of the last 3, but he does have some K upside. I am kind of interested. I want to dig into the matchup a little more. Um, so I guess right now I'll put Giolito kind of as a borderline play for me. Nestor hasn't looked very good, so he's not going to be on my radar right now. Better be opening at that insane price, so no thanks. Kikuchi. This is going to be one of my main decisions on the slate. Has not looked good in 3 straight and in 4 out of his last 5. Started the season out really strong. Now gets to take on a Milwaukee squad that I love targeting with left-handed pitching. So Kikuchi being left-handed is going to fall into my love pile for, some of the things that I look for. But he falls into the hate pile for some of his recent trends. And I'm really torn. I think I have to go with Kikuchi. His numbers at home much better, which we're sensing a theme here. There's a lot of guys that are much stronger at home. He has given up quite a few home runs, which is frustrating. But the Brewers lineup has gotten pretty weak, especially with Adames going on the IL as well. So I think Kikuchi is a fine GPP play. It pains me, but I'm going to trust my desire to take left-handed pitching against Milwaukee. Tony Gonsolin, the largest favorite on the slate at minus 320. Coming off a game where he gave up a couple home runs to Atlanta, but otherwise was pretty solid. It doesn't have a ton of K upside. 6 Ks against Milwaukee and San Diego. 3, 4 Ks in other starts. Just such a great matchup for him. Can limit base runners. There's obviously a chance he gives up more walks than hits. But I really like it. He's he's gotten up to 94 pitches. Appears that they're going to keep him around 90, which might limit the upside to 6 innings, basically. But, getting Gonsolin for just 8K as a minus 320 favorite against one of the weakest offenses while pitching at home probably should be one of the most popular pitchers on the slate. Kind of going below Gonsolin here. The weather in St. Louis is great for hitting. Sorry, so Miles Mikolas is not going to make my pitcher pool. Kyle Gibson probably should, but I'm gonna have to dig in a little more and see, how many I'm gonna end up with. Gets a solid matchup. We know that Cleveland is not a potent offense by any means, and he has been at his best at home. His K rate at home is just is far and away superior to his road K rate. His walks have been up, so that's a little worrisome, but he has thrown the ball pretty well against the Yankees and Blue Jays in back-to-back starts. Um, I just would trust like Gonsolin for 500 more. So uh, I don't know. He's probably going to be a borderline play for me, depending. I like to keep it between 6 and 8 pitchers, and I feel like we're up there already because we have so many at the top that are intriguing. Uh, a couple other names down here to consider, or that are at least in the initial consideration. JP Sears. Now, I know I don't like taking pitchers against Atlanta, and he probably won't make my final player pool except for like the late slates. Uh, but he has thrown the ball pretty well. Uh, Texas has destroyed left-handed pitching at times, and he did pretty well against them. Houston, Seattle, Texas again. I think there's some upside here, but it is a scary matchup, um, especially if he's not striking anybody out. Because his last start against Texas or Seattle, he looked good, but he just didn't have the strikeout, so then the fantasy points didn't come with it. Volatility is definitely there. He gave up 3 home runs to the Yankees, 2 to both the Mets and the Orioles, so most likely doesn't make my pool, but is at least initially intriguing. Same with Brian Bello. Um, you know, he's basically going to give up a home run. Hitting in Boston, the wind's blowing out to left field at 11 miles an hour, but it is the coolest temperature on the slate. I think overall the Cincinnati offense isn't that dangerous, but they have been swinging it better over the last 10 days or so. Bello has thrown the ball pretty well, allowing 2 earned or less in 5 straight starts. So maybe we do have to consider him, and he's probably a better play than Sears is, to be honest. And I think that's about it. Belak has intrigued me before. Uh, ran into some problems with the Brewers, but dominated Oakland, was strong against the White Sox. I just don't think I want to pick on the Twins too much. But there is K upside for him against the Twins. If we were hurting for options, he definitely would have made my pool, but I don't think right now we need to go there, especially because I think Brian Bello is in a better spot. So he would be my cheapest option on DK. But yeah, that's the look at the pitching. Quite a few options, uh, quite a few decisions to make as the afternoon progresses. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get notified anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. And if you want to join us, get access to our tools, get access to myself and other coaches in chat, I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off. And as always, best of luck, everybody.